A few weeks ago, I reviewed an app called Triggertrap that allows you a variety of creative ways to trigger your camera. And in that review, I just kind of touched on a few of them and talked about the intervalometer. It's kind of an excellent way to create time lapses. It's an app that runs on your smartphone, and most of us have that with us all of the time if we happen to have a smartphone. And then you just need this little extra dongle that's plugged into your camera. I want to talk a little bit more in detail today about one of the other options in the app, and that is the Wi-Fi Master Slave mode. And this suddenly turns your smartphone and another device into a really long range, or the ability to have a really long range means to trigger your camera. So let's take a look at that. So I have here an Android phone running the Triggertrap app plugged into the camera. I have over here an iPad also running the Triggertrap app, and the iPad is going to act as the master. And that's important to note that currently the Triggertrap app needs an iOS device to be the master. That's the only catch in this right now. So on the iPad, I am going to go into the settings. That's this little button in the top right corner. And over on the bottom right, you only need to do this one time. On the bottom right is the Wi-Fi button. I'm going to click that, and I'm going to drag that switch to on. So I've turned my Wi-Fi triggering on. Now, it's not a big deal that it says no device is connected yet. That's okay. I'm going to click done and come back to here. I'm going to leave that. Now, on the phone, and you should see this in the video. I've pulled up the phone screen now. I'm going to scroll to the bottom of the phone screen and choose Wi-Fi Slave. I have not done, and I do not need to do, the settings feature on the phone because it's going to act as the slave. And so here now it says Camera Rex iPad. That's the name of this iPad over here. And it has a little check mark next to it. That is critical to note whether or not that check mark is present. If it is not present, it will not work. There are times where devices are listed and you think everything's fine and you're trying to get the two things to talk to each other and it won't work. It's most likely because that check mark is not there. If I go back into the settings real quick on the iPad, it does now show this ADR6425LVW. That is the really nice name of my phone. I've never bothered to rename it. So that's there. So I'm going to click done and go back into Wi-Fi Slave. So everything should be set up correctly. Triggertrap running on the iPad, Wi-Fi turned on. Triggertrap running on the Android phone, and I am in Wi-Fi Slave mode. So now on the iPad, I can go into something like cable release, and at the bottom I have these little switches: shutter, focus, internal, and Wi-Fi. I can simply turn Wi-Fi on, little red dot, and now when I press this button on the iPad, it should cause the camera to take a picture. Slight delay there as this Wi-Fi signal is sent to the router and then back to the phone. So this distance between these two is quite short. It's kind of unexciting. You could say, well, you could do the exact same thing by just running the app on the phone and pressing the button. And that's true, but then when you look at the distance of this cord, it's quite small. And suddenly you are not limited by a cord at all. You are only limited by the range of your Wi-Fi. And taking it a step further, many of us are walking around with devices that can act as hotspots, and like our phone or the little 4G cards, and those usually have a range of around 300 feet, or 300-foot radius. So if you're talking about your camera connected to a device on one side of that range and the device triggering it on the other, you're talking about 600 feet approximately, depending on the conditions and things of that sort. So even if it's not a complete 600 feet, still a full length of a football field or a soccer pitch, that is quite a distance to be able to fire your camera at any time that you want. Again, I'm triggering from an iPad, but this could be an iOS, another iOS device like like an iPhone, much smaller and easily pocketable. And I showed you that, just pressing the cable release causes a picture to be taken. But really, any of these options now are Wi-Fi enabled. If you go to the bottom of any of them, let's go to the bang and clap whistle one. It heard me talk. So at the bottom here is the little Wi-Fi switch. And so if there was a loud noise, it should cause it to take a picture. There it did. A little bit of delay at times. So that's something to be aware of. But really, you're limited by your imagination here, and I would love to see some example ideas. And in fact, I have one more Triggertrap dongle to give away. And you do that over on my Facebook page by leaving a comment. How would you use the Wi-Fi triggering in your life? It can be something funny, it could be something serious, anything in between. I am going to randomly pick one of those ideas and have a Triggertrap mobile dongle and camera-specific cord sent over your way. It is open only to U.S. residents currently. Sorry about that. So the link for the Facebook is right down below this video. I also have a lot of questions. I've gotten a lot of questions about this little device that I have sitting on top of the camera. And this is a little hot shoe adapter and a cell phone, tripod cell phone holder. Links to buy those are right below this video as well. And of course, if you have questions about anything I covered here, please leave a comment down below or find me on the Facebook page, and I would be happy to help you or point you in the right direction. Thanks for watching.